Hey, internet friend, welcome to the Magic Brad Show. This is your friend and, well, I was going to say enemy, but I'm not an enemy. Formerly known as the Synergy Cafe. We're now doing it on a different channel. So, my name is Brad. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've got a guest that I met about a year ago at a magician's anniversary celebration. And it was really fun watching him work. I really like watching magicians work that sort of have honed their skills, and it sort of just flows. It's kind of like seeing a gymnast that just knows how to make it work. They're not struggling at all. But his name is John Sturk, and he's involved heavily with the magic world. So if you want to hang tight, I'll go get John out of our green room, and I'll be right back. Hey, there he is, John. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Brad. How are
Scare ya?
you? No, I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Glad to be here.
All doing a pinch. So, what's the weather been like? You're in Chicago, right? The Windy City, and that they don't call it the Windy City because it's windy. There's some other reason, right?
Let me tell you what, Brad. This guy used to be a Chicago boat architecture tour guide, and I know exactly why it's called the Windy City. Our windbag politicians who are lobbying to have the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. That's why they call it the Windy City.
Look, I knew it wasn't the wind.
No, not the weather, just the politicos.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I really enjoyed watching you when you're up here in the Twin Cities when we were celebrating the SAM anniversary. So tell us a little bit about you. You're are you the president of SAM?
Well, actually, my term ended, so I'm now the past national president of the Society of American Magicians. You only get to serve 1 year, no reelection. So I did my time, tried to do the best I could with it. I love the job, but after when you get towards the last month or two of it, you're kind of ready to hand it over. So I'm almost fully recovered at this point.
I guess you because you're being national, you got to work with all the different assemblies. How many is there? How many other assemblies are there?
Oh, gee, we've probably got over 50 assemblies active. We have had over 300 over the years, over our 123-year history. Some have sort of faded away into inactivity, but we've still got over 50 that are active to this day.
I think I'm fascinated sometimes in that people don't people how many magicians there actually are, and people don't realize that there's not just the SAM but the IBM and then multiple other Christian organizations
Well, and don't forget about those that aren't familiar with our organizations at all.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, Penguin would organize those Penguin Max days where it was sort of like a road show where they'd set up in a city for a day and have a day of dealer demos and lectures. And Penguin was always very generous in letting IBM or SAM clubs have a table at these events so they could reach new audiences. And whenever they came to Chicago, I made sure we had a table. It blew me away how many people that there were in our area that we never saw at IBM or SAM or any of the clubs. And so it's just the nature of people socializing has changed. And we've got to change with it because it's not going to go back to the way it was.
Well, at that celebration, I was amazed. There was like 70, 80 people in that room. I didn't know there were that many around here.
Yeah, that was a great turnout for the Assembly 12 Centennial celebration. So that was about a year and a half ago now. It was October of 23, I believe.
Yeah, it was pretty fascinating. I mean, there's a lot of magic history in Minnesota. I mean, the Eagle Magic Store, it's been around for a long, long time. Well, well over 100 years. And like Houdini's been to this town. He hung by his feet, I think, at some building downtown Minneapolis back in the day, and he's leaned on the cabinets of Eagle Magic Store. So there's a lot that goes on here, you know.
I believe it.
Do you remember Pillsbury Magic Circus?
No, I'm sorry. I think that one was before my
That
time.
was Mark Wilson. That was his TV special thing. But Pillsbury is a corporation based out of the Twin Cities here. So
Okay.
they're the ones that sponsored that. So he spent a lot of time here. And then I mentioned earlier in the green room, Larry Anderson. That's where he picked up Larry Anderson. Larry just happened to be at the magic store, and Mark was in the store and says, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to help me." And he raises his hand. He was just a kid. He says, "I'm going out. I'm going to be a magician."
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Instead of running away from this with the circus, you run away with Mark Wilson. Well, how old were you when you first got started? When you the little spark?
Later than most. I didn't really come to magic till I was a sophomore in college. So I was about 19, 20, and I was at Michigan State University. Originally from the Detroit area. Uh, uh, when I was a student there, I came across a special exhibit at the Michigan State History Museum in downtown Lansing, and the special exhibit was on magic in Michigan. I had no idea that there was any history of magic in Michigan, and one of the museum employees, who was also a magician, was promoting the local IBM ring. And so I thought, well, this sounds interesting. I'll put down my email address. And before long, I had invitations from the ring president, vice president, secretary, all inviting me to come down to a meeting. And I guess the rest is sort of history from there.
Well, again, I don't people are they're familiar with music, you know, and Bob Dylan was here, Minneapolis, and Prince, and all that kind of stuff in the Minnesota area, but they don't see the magic as much. And then, like you mentioned, Michigan, Colon, Michigan, teeny little town. And what is there, like 3, 4 magic stores in that one teeny little town?
Well, it's down to three now, but
Okay.
yeah. So Colon is really where my life took a big uh, change. When I was at university, I went down to Colon. Actually, I went down there for one of their spring weekend magic conferences, and I won first place in the contest. And I was invited to come perform at the big summer Magic Week Abbott's get together that year. So that was 2005. So that was the first week of time I was there for Magic Week, and I haven't missed one since. So this year will be my
Oh, wow.
20th year in a row attending.
I went there. I think we were just old enough to drive, and there was this other little kid, and his mom actually let him come with us,
Hmm.
not really knowing who we were. So that was back in the days when people trusted people. It's kind of weird taking this little, 12-year-old kid to Colon, Michigan on a 3, 4 day weekend. But there's so much that goes on at these things, and people don't realize it. I think it's similar to like the music industry where people just really get into jamming on a certain bass guitar, or you're a musician, you do the keyboard.
That's
And
right. I'm a piano player around Chicago, and I'm also a Hammond organ player. So I'm an official artist for Hammond Organs USA.
okay.
In fact, I managed to combine those two things. Well, I about 10 years ago, I took over as the organist for the Abbott Magic Get Together. So each
Oh, cool.
night of the before the evening show starts, I play about 15 minutes of music live, and that's something you don't find at any other convention.
Well, if you're ever back into the Twin Cities, rattle my cage, I'll take you over to the Heights Theater that's been redesigned as an old theater, and they've got one of those pipe organs that fall down into the stage.
Ah, yeah, they've got one a theater organ, like
Yeah.
the old movie palace. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you guys can keep track of all those different keys all over the place. It's mind
Well,
boggling.
neither do we, but we can play the organ and improvise, but we usually have trouble balancing checkbooks. So there's a trade-off.
That's musicians and artists in general. I'm a Gemini, so my other Gemini self is good at marketing, and then the other side's good with the art part. Because that's where the starving artists come from. They put something together and work on this painting all weekend, and then they justify that it's only $20 because they already had the paint, and I did it on the weekend, and the frame was in the garage, and oh, just take it.
It's a real shift in thinking when you have to go from artist to businessman.
Yeah.
And I'm still not that good at it, but I'm still learning.
Well, when I tell some of the people I'm mentoring or coaching that when you're in the entertainment element and you look at it from a marketing perspective, like for a corporate event, doing an employee party is way different than doing a hospitality suite at a trade show.
Mm-hmm.
You can add some zeros onto your fee when you're doing marketing. It's just a whole different mindset.
Yeah, if you're working at a trade show and your goal is to get sales leads for your customer, the
Mm-hmm.
company that's hired you, that's different than now we're just doing or now we're doing entertainment without the sales goal or the lead collection goal. So it really puts a different flavor to the gig.
Yeah. And you have to look at things differently like that. Like you go to a convention, people are looking at your Elmsley count. You're doing a magic entertainment. They don't care about the Elmsley count. They lack the hope that everybody smiled and laughed and had a good time. And at the trade show, we want leads that generate into sales. It's a whole nother deal. And some
Well,
musicians don't know that when they're bidding on projects or even communicating about projects.
Well, one of the things that another thing that it takes a long time to realize is it's not about the tricks that you do usually, because we all kind of do the same tricks. We all pick a card and find a card. We can all, read a mind, or we can all, do
Cut the rope.
cut and restored rope. Those are all kind of the same. But the point is, how did you make your audience feel, and do they like you?
Yeah,
If your audience doesn't like you, there's no trick that's going to fix it.
that's
There's
right.
nothing you can buy at Eagle Magic Store or Magic Inc. in Chicago or Fun Incorporated that is going to fix your unlikability.
There you go. That sounds like a lecture right there.
Hey, you can have that one for free.
Well, let me stick your little logo up here in case anybody wants to get a hold of John. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
JohnSturk.com. That's how you find that man.
Hey, I'm not hard to find.
So what's your favorite type of performance? I used to like the walk around, and I no longer like the walk around because it feels like, I mean, maybe it's my old age, but it feels like I'm interrupting someone's conversation. So I've kind of shifted now. I don't necessarily want to do the big stage stuff. I like sitting in front of someone's fireplace in their home with 15 to 20 family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
That parlor type show. That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
that sort of parlor show is one of my favorites too. I really like doing like just stand up parlor magic.
Mhm.
I can stand in front of this group and I know I can entertain them for up to an hour if I need to. But my other favorite that I don't get a chance to do as often is bar magic.
Mhm.
When I was starting off in magic at university, I had a couple of magic buddies on campus, and one of them introduced me, had some VHS tapes of Doc Eason's bar magic from L&L Publishing. And we would just love watching those videos because Doc was entertaining and engaging. He didn't take himself too seriously. The people were laughing and cheering for him and chanting his name, Doc, Doc, Doc. And it looked like so much fun to
Mhm.
just uh, be leading the fun rather than being the center of attention, I guess. Be the fun marshal and encouraging other people to have fun.
Yeah, I never
So,
really even thought about it that way. You're right, because you're kind of bringing all those people at the bar together rather than
mhm.
these two guys over here talking, this couple over here talking, and one guy over in the corner by himself. you're kind of interacting, getting everybody to participate together.
Yeah, and again, it's not necessarily about the tricks that Doc did, but how he made people feel and how they felt together, and how they felt about him. He's a genuinely likable person. He's laughing, he's smiling, he's joking around with people, and that's why they like him, and that's why they like what he does.
Yeah, that's another thing about the whole magic world is the different styles. It's kind of like music. You got your blues and your jazz, and there's
Hmm.
all these different genres. Magic has that too, with the strolling magic, the close-up magic, the parlor magic, the trade show pitching stuff, the grand
Yeah,
illusion.
just like another great Chicago magician, Eugene Berger, used to
Yeah.
say about how the House of Magic has many rooms, and it certainly does. And I have tried to just I don't, and maybe to my detriment, but I've tried to explore each room just a little bit, and then you learn which ones you're more comfortable in. Like I still do kids parties. I still do um, well, a little bit of street performance from now and then, but I want to work, so I've got to have some expertise or experience in each of these fields. Now, that's not to say I could decide maybe I just want to focus on one particular area, and I can do that too. But it's, to me, it's more fun. I like learning and exploring uh, different ways of performing. So,
I think it's good.
uh, yeah, I mean, I don't want to just like drop all the card stuff, or drop all the classic stuff like egg bags and Professor's Nightmare, and like just focus on one, um, like mentalism, for example. Maybe I just want to be a mentalist. Hey, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But for me, I think I would get bored with it too fast, and I like a variety. Variety is the spice of life, they say.
I think that's a wise decision in that you're sort of casting a wider net, and then you can hone in on what is it that jazzes you. But it's
Hmm.
also helpful. I remember when we were kids, we kind of went from, the nickels to dimes, and then into the boxes and the screens, and right into doves. And then we could be out in public, and they go, "Hey, could you show me a trick?" And we're thinking, "I
Well,
I don't
I
have
don't
my
have my
gloves."
doves. Yeah, exactly.
So we trained with Al Schneider. Do you know that name?
You sure do. Yeah.
Yeah, and we worked with him and took some of his classes and learned how to do some cards and coins and sleight of hand type stuff where you don't need to have props and apparatus and stuff. But it's good to find where you want to live. Like my friend David Stahl, him and I did magic. We met each other when we were 4 or 5 years old, just little kids. But then he got into the trade show work and worked a lot with Joe Bauer
Hmm.
and very
Hmm.
focused on trade shows because he found his home. But he's capable of doing a home party and a walk around thing or just a couple quick coin tricks or something. But he found his niche. I think that's good that you.
Yeah. So I recently started my own public show in Chicago. It's called Magic Mondays, and I do it once a month on a Monday. It's typically a dark night for most theaters, but it's a stand-up show where I host the show, play the piano. I invite some guest performers to come in, and then I close the show with my own stand-up act. And when that's over, then we go out into the bar and we hang out and do some bar magic.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
just because I want to. Like I said, I like doing bar magic. I don't always get an opportunity, so I had to make my own opportunity for it.
Well, I
Um,
think that's a good way to do it. If you can't find someone to hire you, you create your own thing.
yeah, and then before you know it, people will see you doing that thing and want you to do that thing for them at their event.
Well, that's how I got my business going back when I was doing it in the basically the 80s and 90s. In the 90s, I created this trade show. Back then, it was called the Great Minnesota Event Show. And it
Hmm.
was for event planners to come and find all the things that they needed, their caterers, balloon decorators, staging and lighting. And there was one magician, that was me. And they would come in and fill out a little paper form, tell me how much money they had and when they're going to spend it. And I was doing company picnics and sales meetings and for Cargill, Medtronic, General Mills, Pillsbury, 3M. There's a lot of corporate here. And I created my own event that drew them to me. So that's kind of what you did, is you create your own little party. And now you can start focusing on, like, are you familiar with MPI, or Meeting Professionals International?
No, but from context, I think I understand the deal.
Yeah, you target those people and invite them and comp them in a VIP seating. And now you've got the corporate people that plan meetings showcasing. You're showcasing right in front of them. So
Hmm.
it's just an easier way rather than knocking on doors and making cold calls.
I'll tell you though, selling tickets to a show is no no picnic. It's so much harder to sell tickets to a magic show than it is to perform in the magic show.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Especially
putting
these
butts in the
days.
seats is really really difficult.
When did you start that?
Well, I started doing it last year. I was approached by a piano bar that was looking for some more programming for their Monday nights. So I did 4 months there, and then I decided not to renew at that particular venue. But I still wanted to do the show because I was having fun with it. So I found another venue that I worked with as a piano player for a long time. I pitched them the idea, and they were on board. So
I think it sounds like a good show. It's the whole event stuff. I've got a background in it, and it's ever since COVID and this internet thing, because that's our method of communication. It's really hard to be noticed with 30 days in a calendar month, and there's hundreds of events happening. So
hmm
how do you
hmm
how do you make enough noise to be seen? It's a challenge.
Well, yeah, it's a challenge, and you never quite know what works. So you try a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It used to be, postcards, and you used to send it in the mail, and the post office would deliver it. Now I don't know if it gets delivered or not.
Well, usually it does, but how do you get the addresses is another question.
Yeah. I
Do you
mean,
put a lot of money into social media advertising? Now, Facebook would tell you that they're not really a social media company. That really, what they are is an advertising company,
yeah.
and that advertising is more accessible and gets more eyeballs than pretty much anything else.
Well, it used to be very good. I used to use it for my events, and I could check job title, and job title was event planner or catering coordinator. I could check that job title, and then I invited them to other smaller events, and then that went into my MailChimp account. Automatic was integrated into an automated sequence, and then by the time that event showed up in March, I had a
Hmm.
couple thousand people that had interest. Well, it doesn't work that way anymore.
No, I know plenty of performers here in Chicago. They'll work really hard to get to do spots on like the morning news TV shows
Mhm.
to promote their shows, and that stuff doesn't really work well anymore
No,
unless you convert it into social media content.
right.
People don't necessarily see it when it is actually broadcast, but they are really likely to see it if you use it as social media content and pay to have it put in front of eyeballs. Then people will see it.
Well, that's kind of how I'm doing this here, and we've gone for 23 minutes, John. So I'm going
Hmm.
to kind of close this off. Is there something you could share with us before I'll let you go into the green room and enjoy some of our digital hors d'oeuvres again?
Oh, okay. What do you mean? Like a trick?
Oh, if you got something, if a trick you want to show a trick, sure, that'd be great.
Well, I didn't have one prepared, but I could leave you with some thoughts. How about that?
That works. Thoughts work.
Okay. Okay. So if you're interested in magic, uh, you could go on it on a journey on your own, but you're going to go much farther and much faster if you have some community to go with you, and that's where the Society of American Magicians can help. As I mentioned, we have chapters all over the country, but about half of our members don't live near where there is a chapter available to them. So these days, the SAM has a number of online ways to participate. We have 4, count them, 4 monthly Zoom sessions geared for different types of subjects. So we have what we call V1.1, which is like a general meeting where we have somebody come and lecture, magician come and teach their stuff, or sometimes we throw it open and turn the spotlight on our members to show what they're working on or have them ask questions to the things that they want to learn. We have a program called V1.2, which is a monthly workshop on a specific trick or sleight, and we'll do a deep dive on that for about an hour. Then we had some members in Western Europe who wanted to participate, but it was difficult because of the time change, the time zone difference between here and England. So we started a V1.3, which is at about 3 p.m. Central US time, but it's in Wednesday evening over there when more people can participate. And we recently started V1.4, which is Spanish language, because Spanish is the second most widely spoken language in the United States, and we wanted to make sure we had something for those folks too.
Wow.
So we have four online meetings a month, in addition to a private online social media like forum just for SAM members to share what they're up to, ask their questions, and use the collective hive mind of over 5,000 SAM members to help you out. So just because you don't live near an SAM assembly doesn't mean there isn't an SAM opportunities for you to explore.
Well, there's the fascinating thing about the internet is 24/7. You can kind of tune in. It sounds like you got every week covered, every month.
Yeah, pretty much we do. Just heading over to magicsam.com. That's magicsam.com, and sign up today.
Perfect, John. I'm going to pop you in the green room. If you want to stick around, we can have another chat further. I appreciate you taking the time.
All righty. Thanks, Brad.
There you have it, our friend John Sturk. And this is how you get a hold of him right here, johnsturk.com, STURK. And a little bit more about him we got right here. That's it. That's his shining face and his dapper attire. So thanks for tuning in to the Magic Brad Show, also known as Synergy Cafe. I appreciate you tuning in. And this will be up on YouTube. It's also live streamed right now on LinkedIn and Facebook. So enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Did I say be nice?